What's up guys, JB2017 here, and I am super excited to share the new Wasteland workshop trailer that Bethesda just released earlier this morning, as well as the official release date for the DLC, which is April 12th, only 1 week away. In this video, we're going to pause and break down the trailer to look for as many details as possible so we can know what to expect from this DLC next week. Also, in the description below, you can find a link to the official trailer that has a bunch of narration from the sole survivor that you won't hear in this video because, I'd just be talking over him, and I think it's really cool to listen to, so I encourage you all go and watch that first and then come back here. I also left a link to Bethesda's official announcement on their website below if you are interested. Alright, we're going to go ahead and rewind and start from the beginning of the trailer. We first get a look at this montage, doesn't really give us anything new, then it switches to the sole survivor who kind of narrates through this entire trailer telling us about the workshop. I wanted to pause here really quickly because I don't remember seeing these buses and boats being stacked up like this naturally out in the world. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe we can do something like this in the new DLC, but I just wanted to point that out. I'd be pretty disappointed if I missed a new thing like that. Moving on, we get a nice look at some new building options and someone who looks like Deacon sitting on the bench right there. First and foremost, huge, you can tell that the structure in the background is unlike anything we've been able to build in the workshop mode, and I can tell you that that is concrete. We're going to be able to build concrete structures. The trailer goes in more depth later, so just keep that in the back of your mind. We also see two new wall-mounted lights on either side of that front door, so those look new to me. Also in the windows, you can tell those are kind of very long horizontal tube lights, and those remind me of something I'd see at like a school or something. I don't think those are in the game. They are now. We also have these really tall street lamps that kind of curve over, and so those are going to be kind of cool to dot around our settlement to kind of give it light during the night. Beyond that, we see a lot of repeat objects: the generator, the door, the guard tower on top, the turrets, the flaming trash can, the lantern. So let's go ahead and move on. This next scene is very exciting because it shows us that we're going to be able to garden and plant food on any flat surface by building the garden plot. It needs wood and fertilizer, not very expensive, but this one garden plot can fit 4 plants as they show in just a second here. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever I would try to lay down my food in my plants to increase that food resource, sometimes the elevation was really annoying and it wouldn't let me place my plant. I'd have to rotate it, move it around a little bit. With this garden plot, that's not going to be the case. It's going to be very easy. Just plop it down, and also you can put it on the second floor. The second floor of a house, as they're showing right here. So a lot of options with the garden plot. It's going to be very cool. In this next scene, the narrator says, "Time to use this Sentry's advanced technology to my own advantage." Just remember that as we're looking at this new object here. It's called the Decontamination Arch, and it's something we've seen before. It requires 2 power. We're going to see exactly what it does in a second, but also direct your attention towards the bottom of the screen. We've got structures, concrete, and then floors. So just to kind of give you an idea, there are 4 options that we can see right there that have concrete. There's flooring, there's walls, which is the second one. The next one seems like some kind of tiling, and then some stairs. So concrete is something we're going to see throughout this trailer. So we're going to be able to build this Decontamination Arch, click that button, and walk right through. And what you're not hearing is the narration. So again, time to use this SentryBot's advanced technology to my own advantage. We've seen this arch from the Automatron DLC. If you bought that DLC and played it, you remember that you went through one of those when you were playing this DLC through the story. I don't remember it getting rid of my radiation, but the narrator in this trailer says, "To hell with this radiation." So obviously, that means, since it's called a Decontamination Arch and he said that, that's going to get rid of our radiation. That is a very powerful object, and unfortunately it doesn't show kind of the building requirements for the object, but we can assume, since he says, time to use the Sentry's advanced technology. I know I've said it 3 times, but we're going to need some kind of Sentry technology in order to build this thing. Maybe some kind of object we have to go find, and also I have to assume that we need some kind of perk, and the reason I say that is other objects in this trailer require certain perks to build, and it would make sense. So maybe some robotics expert for this, some kind of high intelligence, something like that would be required for this if I had to guess. Something else to keep in mind is this is basically unlimited RADaway. You just have to go back to a settlement. So if you're playing survival mode, settlements are a pretty important part of that. I think this is going to be a very powerful object in the new survival mode. Next up, we get a closer look at some of the concrete building options, starting with the floors. I think what's interesting here are first the foundation, which is pretty nice to have. It requires steel and concrete. That's probably most of the requirements for concrete in general. Also, we have these rounded floors. You see the second one from the right is rounded. That's going to be really interesting and cool to work with. Some kind of rounded rectangular platforms and squares and stuff like that. We're going to have that option, which is very cool. Another quick pause here, we get a look at some of the concrete wall building options. Again, we saw these towards the beginning of the video. Some of these walls have windows with bars, kind of like a prison. But what I like about these so far is they seem very structurally intact. There's no holes in the roof and stuff. I mean, obviously there's holes right here, but that's on purpose. It's kind of graded. There's no holes. It's not crappy like a tin roof like we had before. So I'm really going to enjoy building with concrete. The two options on the far right are really interesting to me. The one on the very far right looks like a pillar. So maybe we can make pillars now for decoration or to support a second floor. Then the other one looks like a half wall. That just gives us more wiggle room with exactly how we want to shape our walls, which is very, very cool. Another quick pause here, just showing you guys on the bottom, the menu look for the new lighting kits and all of that is going to be that open sign. So if you go over to there and then press up, you're going to get all of these new options that we're about to see. We can also see a closer look at the concrete kind of insides of those structures. They're going to be very cool. So pausing right here, there's a lot of things to point out. First off, the metal foundation kind of raised where this guy's kind of pseudo throne is looks very cool. I'm going to be looking forward to messing around with that on the insides of my new places. But also check around the various boxes in this room. On the right, we've got the guns box, in the middle, the storage box, and on the far left, just stuff. So we're going to be able to label our boxes, which is very cool, almost Minecraft-like. That's what that reminds me of. So that's going to be very cool. We're going to zoom in a little bit closer as the Soul Survivor bumps his head on this fan. First off, on the wall, we can see the bear and also a smaller creature. I'm not sure what that is, but you are going to be able to mount animal heads on walls. We get a better look at that towards the end of the trailer, so I will point that out. And also on the far left, on that desk, we see the 0 and the 2. And I don't think we had that option before. I'd imagine this option will be under the open light sign that I showed you guys under the power tab, so we can make these and also keep track of our fights. I can't wait to use these and put these on my arenas to kind of track, hey, this settler has won 3 in a row or something like that. That'll be really, really cool. Next up, we see some very interesting new defense options. First is the spring trap. Doesn't have a lot of really complicated materials, which is nice. It produces 1 defense, which is cool, and it's just a spring-loaded impaling trap, as it says. So if someone steps on it, they're probably most likely going to die. It's going to hurt them very badly. Also, along the bottom, we see a lot of these new traps. It's hard to really guess what a lot of these are. We're going to see one more, but on the far left, that looks like the Tesla trap to me that we're going to be able to put on a roof or a wall that we always run into in the game already. So a lot of new interesting options here. Now we're looking at the saw blade trap, which requires more materials but produces more defense. It does require power as well, so when powered, spinning blades move across the track. We're about to see that, but another really cool, deadly new option. This is going to be nice to just have around our settlements in case they get attacked. They will be defended by these things. Another quick pause here. The spinning blade is awesome, but at the very back it says turn here, so that gives us a nice look at some of the lighting. I also think there was something that said enter at your own risk on the last scene, but we've got a lot to move through here. Also, some kind of really big crab claw on the wall that looks like a Mirelurk claw that we can just use and mount on the wall, which is very cool. On the right, we have all these wires and several trip mines, the lasers. They're kind of hard to see, but they are red lasers. They're faded, and there's a ton of them, so we can just set these up one by one and make some kind of really deadly trap. We get a look at the final trap in this trailer, and that is the spike trap. So this is an embedded spike kind of trap with a pressure plate. So if anybody runs over this, these spikes are going to come up and kill whoever it is. The requirements are kind of similar to the spring trap. It also produces 1 defense. So we're going to see a raider kind of go through this gauntlet that the person has created. This is going to be very cool to kind of attract things and run them through a gauntlet. I can definitely see myself doing this. Moving on, now we get an awesome look at all of the new exciting cages and trapping and all of that stuff. So along the bottom of the screen, we can see it's kind of divided into cage size, which is something I kind of speculated. We have cages and then large cages and all these different types. So we're going to see a lot of different types throughout this trailer. And this is the Mirelurk cage. So we can clearly tell it requires steel, copper, gears, but also Mirelurk eggs. So I was thinking, is there going to be some kind of bait that we need in order to capture these creatures? And it looks like we do need bait, but it's kind of built into the building system, which makes sense. We can see that cages require power in order to function, so you have to power it up in order to have a chance to capture a Mirelurk, and then if you shut off the power, it'll release that creature. Our cages will be labeled, which will be nice. Also, we see if we turn off the power, that again will release a creature, something we expect. After this king is done swiping at us, we get a look at this very interesting new object. It's called the Beta Wave Emitter. Has a ton of resource requirements, not very easy to find, requires 1 power. Most importantly, it requires Animal Friend and Wasteland Whisperer, which is way down on charisma. This is a very Specialized device. I think that Wasteland Whisperer makes a lot of sense because the description here is that creatures released from cages while this is turned on will be non-aggressive towards you and your settlers. Does this mean we can have Deathclaws walking around our settlements not attacking us, just kind of chilling, maybe even defending for us? That would be awesome, insane. We also have another miscellaneous cage item on the bottom of the screen. We don't know what that one to the right is. Maybe that will kind of tame humanoid creatures like, you know, super mutants or just other raiders. That would be very, very cool. Moving along, we see the tamed Mirelurk King. Also, we see that we can get dogs and cats. Very quickly, it showed a dog cage and a cat cage. So if you want a dog or a cat just kind of roaming around your settlement, it is definitely possible. That was just too cute. We're going to pause here to point out a few things. First, we saw the settlers along the wall just watching the fight. That's something we already saw in the promotional image for this. On the far right, we see kind of a standing lantern, which is very cool object. I'm definitely going to have a lot of those if they're not too expensive. We have the stoplight, so that's going to be some kind of cosmetic object. I think we already saw that. But what's interesting to me also is this beta wave emitter is in the ring. I'm not sure if this has a different purpose, but this Deathclaw is about to fight the person in the power armor, so I'm not really sure why that's there. Another interesting thing to point out is, did this person have to build this arena around this Deathclaw cage, or could they pick it up, move it, and then, you know, have it here in order to fight? Because it's going to be really annoying to have to build arenas around cages. I hope that's not the case. I hope we can pick them up just in the workshop building mode, move them around into our arena, and then use them. We get some nice action shots and actually find out that the person behind this power armor is Preston Garvey himself. You can notice by the hat, and it just looks like Preston as well. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think we're gonna have to build around these cages? I hope we can move them around. We also get a flash montage of all of these different things we can mount on our walls, which will be very cool. All these creatures we kill, maybe they'll drop some kind of, you know, head or some kind of appendage that we can mount on our walls. I can't wait to make my own trophy room. Our final pause will be right here to show off some of the lighting kits. We didn't really see how that works in the building, but I'm sure it'll be nice and intuitive. Also, all these lights along the bottom, we're going to be able to program those. I think we're already able to do that in the first place. But anyways, guys, there's a lot of stuff in this trailer. And let me know in the comment section below, is this exciting for you? Is this a lot more than you expected from a $5 DLC? Or is this much of the same? You're not really impressed by it? Also, let me know if there's anything I missed. Point that out. Let everyone know in the comment section below. Alright guys, today we looked at the new Wasteland Workshop trailer coming to Fallout 4 soon, and next time we will cover more Fallout on my channel, so stay tuned for Fallout 4 tips and tricks videos. If you learned something new, remember to hit that like button, I would really appreciate it, and don't forget to subscribe for more survival mode coverage, Wasteland Workshop DLC, and general tips and tricks videos. Talk to you guys next time, peace.